Enterprise Integration Patterns, How QServices Connects Complex Tech Stacks. Welcome back. Today's topic is Enterprise Integration Patterns, How QServices Connects Complex Tech Stacks. We'll cover what you actually need to know about Dynamics 365 integration services. Next up, moving on to why enterprise integration projects break down. Most enterprise integration failures aren't caused by bad software. They're caused by underestimating the connectivity layer that holds everything together. A CRM can be configured perfectly and still deliver nothing if it can't pull clean data from the warehouse system, the billing platform, and the support desk in real time. The classic failure pattern: a company chooses Dynamics 365 to replace a fragmented mix of spreadsheets and a legacy CRM. The D365 instance goes live, looks polished in demos, and then slowly becomes another data silo because the 12 other systems it was supposed to connect with were never properly integrated. Sales reps end up copy-pasting between screens. Reporting stays broken. The CFO stops trusting the numbers. Mid-market companies typically run between 15 and 40 separate software tools. Connecting them isn't optional. Finance needs real-time sales data. Operations needs inventory figures that match what sales is promising customers. HR needs headcount data that syncs with project management. When each system holds a different version of the same record, the first casualty is trust in any single report. Next up, moving on to what do Dynamics 365 integration services actually include? Dynamics 365 integration services cover a broader scope than most buyers expect when they first request a quote. At QServices, we break this into 4 distinct work streams: data integration, process integration, user interface integration, and system event handling. Data integration handles the movement and transformation of records between D365 and external systems. Process integration automates workflows that span multiple platforms, for example triggering a purchase order in D365 Finance when inventory drops below threshold in a third-party warehouse system. UI integration surfaces D365 data inside other applications without requiring users to context switch. Event handling ensures that changes in one system propagate correctly to dependent systems without manual intervention. For a deeper technical look at how these components fit together, our post on Dynamics 365 integration services, connecting D365 to your entire tech stack, covers the architecture patterns in detail. Let's talk about core integration patterns QServices uses for complex tech stacks. When we talk about Dynamics 365 customization in the context of integration, we mean more than modified forms and workflows. We mean how D365 sits within a broader architecture and how data flows reliably across that architecture under real-world load. Getting this right is what separates a D365 deployment that compounds in value over time from one that becomes an expensive maintenance burden. Event-driven architectures use Azure Service Bus or Event Grid to trigger actions across systems the moment something changes in D365. A new customer record in D365 Sales can trigger customer onboarding in the billing system and create a project in Azure DevOps simultaneously. This approach suits logistics, financial services, and healthcare particularly well, where latency in data movement creates compliance or operational risk. Out of the box, D365 handles generic sales, service, and finance workflows well. Industry-specific requirements, particularly in healthcare, banking, and logistics, almost always require custom entities, security roles, and business process flows built on Dataverse. We've built HIPAA-compliant patient intake workflows, KYC automation for financial services firms, and load management modules for freight companies on this foundation. Let's talk about next up, Dynamics 365 Business Central versus Finance and Operations. Which module fits your business? One of the first questions any serious Dynamics 365 Business Central partner conversation should address is whether Business Central or Finance and Operations is the right foundation. The answer depends almost entirely on company size, transaction volume, and financial complexity. D365 Business Central is designed for SMBs with 10 to 300 users. It covers core accounting, inventory, project management, and basic manufacturing. Implementation typically runs 3 to 6 months for a standard deployment, and the licensing cost is substantially lower than F&O. D365 Finance and Operations targets enterprises with 300 plus users and complex financial operations across multiple legal entities, currencies, and regulatory jurisdictions. A full D365 Finance and Operations implementation covers supply chain management, warehouse management, manufacturing, and global tax compliance. Timelines typically run 9 to 18 months for large organizations. Next up, let's talk about how much does Dynamics 365 CRM implementation cost. CRM implementation cost is one of the most searched questions in this space, and the honest answer is that it varies more than most vendors will tell you upfront. According to Microsoft's Dynamics 365 pricing documentation, D365 sales starts at $65 per user per month, but licensing typically represents only 30 to 40% of total project cost. Services, customization, and integrations drive the larger share. Here is how cost typically breaks down for a mid-market Dynamics 365 CRM implementation. Dynamics 365 implementation typically takes 3 to 18 months depending on modules selected, user count, and customization complexity. A sales-only deployment for 50 users with 2 integrations typically runs 3 to 5 months. Next up, moving on to how to choose the right Dynamics 365 implementation partner. Choosing a Dynamics 365 implementation partner deserves more rigor than most buyers apply to it. The Microsoft partner ecosystem has thousands of certified firms globally, and certification level alone doesn't tell you much about delivery quality. QServices holds Microsoft Certified Solutions Partner status with specializations in business applications and digital and app innovation. But the questions you should ask any partner go well beyond certification badges. Our Dynamics 365 implementation partner, 10-point checklist to evaluate and choose covers the full evaluation process in depth. Look for a partner with active solutions partner designation in business applications, not a legacy gold or silver competency. The new designation requires demonstrable customer success metrics, not just exam pass rates. Specializations in specific D365 modules signal deeper delivery experience in those areas. A Dynamics 365 consulting services firm worth engaging should be able to show you at least 3 comparable project references before you sign anything. Let's talk about Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce for Microsoft First businesses. The Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce decision comes down to one practical question: how deeply embedded is your organization in the Microsoft ecosystem? If you run Microsoft 365, Azure, Teams, and Power Platform, D365 almost always wins on total cost of ownership and integration simplicity. The native connectivity between products means fewer custom integrations, lower middleware costs, and a single vendor relationship for licensing negotiations. According to Gartner's CRM market research, both platforms are consistently rated as leaders. Salesforce holds a larger overall enterprise market share, while Dynamics 365 has been gaining ground in mid-market deals, particularly among organizations that are already standardized on Microsoft. For a detailed feature comparison, our post on Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce, which CRM wins for Microsoft First businesses, covers licensing, features, and migration paths side by side. Now, let's talk about Dynamics 365 migration services, moving safely from legacy systems. Dynamics 365 migration services cover a meaningfully different scope than a greenfield implementation. When you're moving from Salesforce, an older Dynamics version, or a homegrown system, the primary risk isn't the destination technology. It's data integrity and business continuity during the cut-over window. The full migration risk picture and roadmap is covered in our post on Dynamics 365 migration services, risks, roadmap, and how to move safely. Now, moving on to conclusion. Dynamics 365 integration services succeed when they're treated as architecture problems, not technology purchases. The companies that get the most from D365, whether they're running Business Central for a 60-person distribution company or finance and operations across a 2,000-person enterprise, are the ones that planned their integration architecture before signing a license agreement, budgeted for Dynamics 365 customization where their industry required it, and built change management into the project from the start. QServices has supported Dynamics 365 CRM implementation, Dynamics 365 consulting services, migration, and integration projects across healthcare, logistics, banking, and SaaS since 2014. If you're scoping a D365 project and want a realistic assessment of timeline, cost, and integration complexity for your specific tech stack, contact us to schedule a discovery conversation with a member of our team.